But consent and its conceit of absolute clarity risks placing the burden of good sexual interaction on women's behavior, on what they want and on what they can know and say about their wants, on their ability to perform a confident sexual self in order to ensure that sex is mutually pleasurable and uncoercive. Woe betide she who does not know herself and speak that knowledge. So there you have it.
It's a bunch of word salad.
It's word salad, but the most important thing is, okay,
the snake eats its tail.
After 4 years of Me Too, where they saying women are the ones, we are the gatekeepers of sex, we want to be the ones who give affirmative and enthusiastic consent. If you don't get that from us, then it's rapé and you go to jail. Now, well, there's nuance to that. That's just too much responsibility for a woman to have. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, first they want to have the ability to crush a dude's life. Now they're saying it's too much responsibility.
It's just too much. It's just too much for one person.
May I also point out a hypocritical point of this authoress. When's the last time she fucked? I mean, seriously, what guy would make a deposit in that bank? I mean, look at her. She's ugly, she's old, and here she is pontificating like she's like a play-by-play porn star analyst, thinking like, oh, yeah, you see that. It's like, this is an old, bitter woman who has no purpose and meaning in life. None. And the hell if she's got any quality dick, like with a 100-mile radius of her. This is a theoretical piece. This is an academic, and she is an academic. She's never set foot in the real world. She's never been in the real world. From the age of 5, she has never left school. It's hilarious. Just because it has the veneer of, The Guardian doesn't mean this is worth anything. And it isn't. And you can tell because the writing is horrible, doesn't get to the point. It's intellectually dishonest. It's lying, and it's hypocritical.
Yeah, and what really blows my, and I think you really hit the point when you say, when was the last time this woman got this beef and cheddar and a catcher's mitt ever got any dick? I think what she's done is that she has, just like what she's encouraging these women to do, is she's retroactively in her head taken the attention that she used to get and morphed it into something bad so that she doesn't miss it. And then she's taking that disdain for the lack of attention that she's no longer getting, and she's pushing it off on everybody else so that she can try to turn her necessity or lack thereof into a virtue. It's the equivalent of, you can't fire me, I quit. Weh? F off.
Yeah.
She has been in an environment that is not real. Academia.
Well, feminism teaches these women of today unreal shit.
Yeah.
Right.
They live in a falsehood. They're fed propaganda, and then when they get into the real world, by the time they're 40, feminism is done with them, and they're OPAF, old, poor, powerless, and forgotten.
Yeah.
Right. But this gal has stayed in academia this entire time, so I think she might actually believe her own shit.
Especially in the United States, one of the reasons why women go to college is for what? It's not to get educated.
No.
It's to get dicked down and turned into a dartboard where somebody blows out their bullseye 3 times a night and then goes back home to their Xbox.
And then at the end of 4 years, they have a prospect that they're going to marry.
Yeah. And then when you don't find one, what do? You become a lifelong academic and you turn out bullshit like this.
And you know what? It's only going to get worse because, when it's 70% of the college educated are women and 30% are dudes, it is going to implode.
Boom!
It's going to implode.
Yeah.
Would you guys like an additional little cherry on the top of this sundae we've created?
Go for it.
Okay. So, I was looking at your book rankings and all that. It correlates with book sales. This gal ain't making more than $100 a month on her book sales. She's written 5 of them.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow. You're presumably, if you write a book, this would be your life's work or something really critical or core to your being. And the entire world says, "F off, we don't want it. You're a worthless piece of shit." And that's what the market has spoken. And so I cannot imagine what a delusional, mentally painful world this woman lives in, where she's written 5 books. These aren't light books either. She's put forth her effort into writing them. But this is a person who just pissed away their life
Yep.
And she's also an old woman, which unfortunately for women, I know this sounds horrible. You also then gave up the ghost in terms of your most valuable asset, and that was your female youth and beauty. And now you don't have that anymore. But instead of like becoming an engineer or salvaging it and the bottom of the ninth and the seventh inning stretch, instead of doing something valuable, you're just doubling down and being like, well, I hate men and men have all the responsibility. It's like, okay, you literally, whether you believe in God or nature or statistical improbability that you are the one to be born, you pissed it away. And this is where I have no problem saying, like, you might as well not exist. This person is a non-entity. I mean, that brick over there you got, Popp. I'm looking at that one brick in your background. No, the other one. That one.
Yeah, okay.
That has more value and meaning than this worthless piece of shit. It's more unique.
You know what?
It's more interesting.
This is an artificial brick.
More value than her.
It's
At least it's got a
paneling,
service
man.
and a function. It looks like a brick.
Yeah, but you know what? You're correct. And the thing is like over the years, I've dealt with hundreds of feminists, either like direct conversation or through email. And I'm amazed at how they continue to live in a reality that has nothing to do with the reality of the real.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, holy shit! It must be nice living in where you're living, because the real world is nothing like this.
Well, may I introduce a concept that I've been mulling over? You guys know Ryan Stone?
No.
He wrote the FUCC files, FUCC files. He's a Canadian, so it counts like 70%. Anyway, he had a brilliant observation. Is that the only thing women want more than to have sex with a bunch of alpha men is to have the reputation that they don't. And it's the ultimate case of having their cake and eating it too. And as I've started to study, not just necessarily women, but other people as well, the last and final frontier of economics, the last and final luxury good, is to live this lie. And you can see it in many different capacities. Like, you go to school, you get yourself a college degree. Well, I'm an intellectual. I'm smart because I have my degree in sociology. No, you're a worthless bint who couldn't do math and you took the easy way out. Or I'm a dude, bro, and I got my McMansion and my Raptor Ford 150 and I got this and that. It's like, yeah, but it's all leased and you don't own any of it. People, especially Americans, I think this is not specific to Americans, but this is one of the more larger and advanced economies. I think humans, the ultimate and last final luxury good is to be lied to and think they're great people all the time. And that is what I'm seeing here with this feminist bullshit in this particular example of this. So instead of like, oh, I got the McMansion, I got the house trophy wife, and it's all borrowed and you're paying your wife anyway because everything's prostitution essentially.
Yes, it is.
In this woman's particular case, I'm an academic, I'm important, I have a doctor in front of my name, and when I write for The Guardian, I'm valuable and purposeful. But when the real world hits, and we could make as many criticisms as we want, valid as it might be, you will never get through to her. And that's why you're not going to get through to feminists, you're not going to get through to ideologues, you're not going to get religious zealots, because they so are addicted, like to heroin, an ideology or a belief or the lie that they are good people and always in the right and then are entitled and they are perfect human godlike beings. You are never going to dislodge them from that addiction. Never. And so that's where it's like, I wouldn't even bother I wouldn't engage with this woman. I would just look at the empirical evidence. This is a fucking nobody. This is a fucking loser. She's a fucking 50-year-old woman who writes for the goddamn Guardian. And, and us dumbasses with our stupid internet YouTube channels get more traction than this worthless waste of human life. And that's the truth.
God
and
damn.
But she ain't going to listen, because she'd have to maybe go for a long walk. She'd come to that conclusion, or have to change her life.
Well,
but
it's too late for her now.
Yeah, it's too late. Too bad for her.
Yeah. That's right.
And she would have to actually embrace what feminism claims to teach, which is equality.
Right.
Women are supposed to be physically and mentally equal to men. They're supposed to be able to handle everything that we can. Well, apparently, they can't handle being the gatekeepers to sex. They can't handle working as many hours a week as a man can, which is why there's a so-called gender pay gap. They can't handle the fact that their stupid lotions and razors and deodorants and bullshit have more ingredients in them.
I'll even put it even more basic than that. They can't honor their effing word.
No, never.
Yes, I will have sex. Oh, it was the repay. Oh, I will show up, and I'm not going to call you and flake on you at the last minute. It is just some basic civil adult behavior they're incapable of doing. And so I just, it's like, okay, whatever. Talk all you want, write for whatever articles you want. In the end, you are being hypocritical to yourself. You're being dishonest. And when you're being dishonest and hypocritical to yourself, you will never have quality people in your life, and you will piss away your life. And that's exactly what this woman is.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, and bring the strong stuff.